All right. Hello, happy Sunday. Today we're going to be connecting with the new moon in Virgo. And Virgo is an earth sign that's very good at paying attention to small details, and it's known for being a perfectionist. These are both Virgo's greatest strengths, but they can also be its biggest challenges because it can become overwhelming and stressful when you set really high standards for yourself. It can also prevent you from beginning a project or completing something because you're too concerned about the end result rather than enjoying the process along the way, which I think we can all relate to with big dreams or ideas that we have and we're scared to get them started. So in the first part of this class, we will connect with Virgo's attention to detail by moving really mindfully with intention and through an all-level yoga flow. And then we will transition to some yin poses to promote relaxation and try to find a sense of contentment. If you have a block, that might be helpful throughout this practice, but it can be done without it. And when you're ready, meet me on your mat in a child's pose. Bringing your knees out not too wide so that you're just easing into the stretch in your hips. Reaching your arms forward, relax your forehead down to the mat. Or if it feels better, you can slide a bolster or a pillow or a blanket underneath your torso. And we'll start by calming the nervous system by taking some deep breaths. So as you inhale, feel your low belly expand. And as you exhale, let all the breath out. One more slow, deep breath in, feeling your low belly right below the navel expand. And then let all the breath out. Good. Then we'll start to lengthen the exhale so that it's just a little bit longer than the inhale. So start by letting all of your breath out. Then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then come back to your natural breathing rhythm. And with your next inhale, come up to a tabletop position with your wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and start to move between cat and cow pose. So as you inhale, bring your chest forward, a little lift of your chin, tip your pelvis forward so the tailbone is lifting, stretching the front of the body. And as you exhale, push the floor away, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Deep breath in as you scoop the chest forward between the shoulders, and exhale, round your back. One more time, inhale and exhale. And come back to a neutral position. Take your knees out a little bit wider and find a few bear circles, shifting forward to the right, back to the left, forward and around. Feeling a gentle massage in the wrist joints. Notice how the knees are moving, how the hips are feeling, how the shoulders feel. And then switch the direction of your circles. And come back to a neutral position, tabletop. From here, extend your right leg back, tucking your toes under, and press your heel down towards the ground. You can pause and take a deep breath into your right calf, or it might feel better to rock forward and back a few times, encouraging the muscle to release. Good. Pause for a moment, and then swing your leg to the right so it's about in line with your hip. And then start to rock your hips back, bringing your glutes towards your left heel. And again, maybe you hold it for a moment, breathe into the stretch, or you can rock forward and back a few times. Okay, come back to center, dropping your right knee down. Start to extend your left leg back, tuck your toes under, press your heel down towards the ground, and push your hands into the floor, stretching out the back of your left leg. Maybe rock forward and back a few times. Then slide your leg over to the left side, about in line with your hip. Rock your hips back towards your right heel. The toes can lift off of the ground if you want to. Feeling the stretch in the inner left hip. Then come back through center, drop your left knee down. Press your hands down, tuck your toes under, and start to lift up and back into a downward facing dog. Then bend your right knee, lifting your right heel off of the ground, and maybe shift your hips a little bit to the left. Come back through center, bending your left knee, lift your left heel, press your hips a little bit to the right. One more time on each side, bending your right knee, pressing that left heel towards the ground, bending the left knee, pressing the right heel towards the ground. Bring your legs back to center and start to walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Take your feet out nice and wide and find ragdoll by holding on to opposite elbows. Soften your knees, feel your back release. Sway a little bit from side to side and forward and back. Shake your head, release your neck. And release your hands back down to the ground. Toe heel your feet to about hip width distance apart. And with your next inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Feeling each section of your spine stacking. And when you get to the top, roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Roll them down, forward, up, and around. Then start to switch the direction of your circles, rolling your shoulder blades towards each other, up, forward, down, and around. Good. Relax your shoulders. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Take a deep breath into the side of your neck. Relax the tension there as you exhale, letting your right ear melt towards your shoulder. Then roll your chin down to your chest, left ear to your left shoulder, making a half circle chin to chest, right ear to right shoulder. Chin to chest, lift your head back up to center. Then drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Pause, take a deep breath into the right side of your neck. Relax any tension there with your exhale. One more inhale. And with your exhale, roll your chin to your chest, right ear to right shoulder. Reaching through the crown of your head, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. Chin to chest, lift your head back up to center. Reach your arms out and up. Hold onto your left wrist with your right hand and gently pull the arm up and over to the right. Press your hips to the left for a side stretch. Lift back through center. Switch sides, holding onto your right wrist with your left hand, and really lift the arm up. Lengthen as you take it into your side stretch to the left. Come back through center. Reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Press your hips forward, your pubic bone forward. Lift your chest up for a little back bend. And then come back through center, forward fold. hinging at your hips. So you can even put your hands in your hip crease and kind of sit your hips back, bend your knees, keeping your spine nice and long until you get into your fold. And then relax your head and your neck. Plant your hands down, step your feet back into a high plank. And pause here. You're welcome to drop the knees down or keep them lifted, but focus on pressing your hands down, pushing the floor away energetically, and dialing your hands out. So it's that same feeling that you have when you're opening a jar. Your hands are pressing down into the mat and dialing out to the sides. They won't actually move very much, but you'll feel that strength in your arms and in your shoulders. Keep the back of your head and neck lifted up in line with the rest of your spine as you gaze down at the mat. Good, let's all drop the knees down and take 2 little push-ups just to warm up the shoulders. So bend your elbows halfway or less and then push the floor away. One more time like that, bending your elbows just halfway or less, push the floor away. Then slowly lower all the way down with control. And once you're on your belly, focus on pressing your pubic bone down into the mat. Feel how that engages your glutes. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other a bit and start to use your back muscles to lift up into your quads. Good, relax back down. Press your hands into the mat. Press back up into your modified plank or up into a high plank and back to a downward facing dog. Bring your big toes to touch and shift the weight into your left foot. Float your right leg back and up. Bend your right knee and circle your hip a few times in one direction. And try to keep your pelvis really steady and still so that the only thing moving here is your hip. Circle a few times in the other direction. Then straighten your right leg back and up into 3-legged down dog, still keeping your pelvis in a steady position. Lift the right heel up a little bit higher. With your exhale, bring your knee forward towards your nose, round your back, and lift your knee up towards your chest as far as you can. Step your foot all the way through and drop your left knee down. Reach your arms up into a narrow knee low lunge so your legs are at about a 90-90 bend. And energetically press your legs down into the mat and pull them in towards each other. So it doesn't look like very much is happening, but again, you'll feel a lot happening in your legs and around your hips. Yeah, then start to lower your hands down in front of your right foot, lift your back knee, and step the left foot forward into a forward fold. This time, lift up halfway, lengthening your spine, sliding your hands up to your shins or onto blocks, or they can stay on the ground, but reach the crown of your head forward. Feel the low belly lift to support you. Feel the back of the head and neck lift. And then forward fold, bend your knees to release your back. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, nice long spine, pressing the feet down to reach up. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, nice long spine, bending your knees, and then folding over your legs. Step your right foot back, drop your right knee down, and rise up into narrow knee low lunge on the other side. Energetically press your legs down into the mat and pull them in towards each other like you're gonna scrunch up the mat. Notice how it feels in the front of the right hip when you do that. And then lower your hands down. Tuck your back toes to lift your right knee. This time, step your left foot back into high plank. Push the floor away. Strong in the shoulders. And slowly lower all the way down to the mat. You can drop your knees first, or you can lower in one piece. Press your pubic bone down, and then use the back muscles to lift you up. Lower your chest back down, press up either modified plank or straight into high plank, and back to downward facing dog. Bring your big toes to touch, float your left leg back and up, bend your knee, keep your pelvis really steady so that left hip point is still in line with the right hip point, and circle your knee a few times in one direction, and then circle it a few times in the other direction.
Straighten your left leg back, lift up through the heel. With your exhale, shift forward, bringing your knee towards your nose. Really lift your knee up towards your chest, push the floor away so you're rounding in your upper back, and then step your left foot as far forward as you can. Drop your back knee, reach your arms up into your narrow knee low lunge. This time we're gonna walk the left foot a little bit further forward, and we're energetically gonna press the legs down and away from each other. And if there's any discomfort on the back knee, you could place a little extra cushion there or make an adjustment so that it's not on a sensitive area. So again, notice how this feels around the right hip. Lower your hands down, tuck the back toes, lift your knee, step it forward, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, nice long spine. Exhale, find your center, hands at your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at your hips. Keep your spine nice and long. Soften the knees as you come down. Good, and then lower your hands down. Step your left foot back. Drop your left knee down. Reach your arms up. And then bring your right foot forward just a little bit. Press the hips down just a little bit, but without sinking. You want to engage the legs by pressing down and away from each other, staying active. Good, lower your hands down. Tuck the back toes, step your right foot back into high plank, and lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back up to downward facing dog. Good. From here, big toes touch. Float the right leg back and up, three-legged down dog. With your exhale, shift forward again, bringing your knee to your nose, letting the breath out. With your inhale, lift back up into three-legged down dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee to your nose, push the floor away, step it all the way through, and rise up into a high crescent lunge. Making sure that your feet are on two separate lanes. So if you're imagining two car lanes or train tracks, you want them to be on two separate lanes rather than on the same lane. And then notice how it feels around the left hip. Notice where the pelvis is, and bend your back knee a little bit to let the pelvis, the tailbone drop and the pelvis come into more of a neutral position. See how that feels. And then take a look at this front right knee, making sure that the knee is centered over the foot from left to right. So your knee shouldn't be dropping in to the left side. It should be centered right over your foot. It doesn't need to be right over your ankle. It can be further back, but from left to right, it's at center. Then reach up through your arms with a deep breath in. With an exhale, take an open arm twist, sweeping your right arm back and your left arm forward. You might even bend your back knee a little bit more. Draw the low belly in to support you. With your inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. And with your exhale, draw the belly in with the full breath out, twisting. And maybe you can even turn your eyes towards your right hand and see if that gives you a little bit more space to twist. From here, windmill your arms around. So your left hand will come down, your right arm will come up as you drop the back heel down, so your left foot's parallel to the back edge of the mat, and you straighten your right leg to set up for reverse triangle pose. From here, lower your left hand down, reach your right arm up, and imagine someone's pulling on your arm. So the whole arm moves, even the shoulder blade, as you reach back. Come back through center, open your arms out wide, triangle pose, slide your rib cage forward, press your left hip out to the side, and then keep a long spine as you lower your right hand down. It can come down to your leg or it can come down onto a block. Feel the left shoulder stacking over the right shoulder. With your next inhale, use the left side body to lift you back up. Yeah, turn your toes out a little bit, heels in, just finding your natural turnout. And if you're not really sure what that looks like, you can always jump your feet out into a turnout and they'll just land in that natural turnout position. So you're not trying to force it and getting into the knees at all. It's coming from your hips. Cactus your arms in your goddess squat. And with your next inhale, press to straighten, reach your arms up, palms together. Feel a pause at the top of your breath. Then with your exhale, bend your knees, bring your hands to heart center, and feel a pause at the end of your exhale. Inhale, press to straighten, reach up. Pause at the top. Exhale, cactus your arms. Full breath out, feeling that pause that happens naturally at the bottom of the breath. Then straighten your legs, bring your feet parallel to each other. Sweep your arms around to your low back, interlace your fingers, roll your shoulder blades towards each other, and then straighten your arms, leaning back, shining your chest forward, pressing the pubic bone forward, just like you would in your cobra pose. And then back through center. Take this down into a wide leg forward fold with a shoulder rinse. And you can always have something between your hands here. If it feels a little tight, you could hold on to a towel or a strap with the hands wider. Give a little squeeze of the shoulder blades together. Tuck your chin into your chest for a moment and then release it. Then lower your hands all the way down to the mat. Take a few side lunges. Bend your right knee and feel the hips going back into space, stretching the inner left hip. Then lift up and over to the left, stretching the inner right hip. Do that one more time on each side. And then bring your hips back to center. Turn around to the top of the mat. Bring your left hand down, either on the mat or on a block, and reach your right arm out to the side and up for a dragonfly twist. Make sure your left hand is far enough to the left so that you can lean back into it. Let it catch you. Lower your right hand down, drop your left knee down. You can either keep your foot and your shin in line with your knee, or you can swing it off the mat for more of a kickstand as you kick the right leg back into a modified side plank. And really press your hips forward. Push that left hand down. Feel the left shoulder blade is hugging towards your rib cage so you're steady in the shoulder. Then lower your right hand back down. Lower the right toes down at the back of the mat and step your left foot back. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back up to downward facing dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, float your left leg back and up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, shift forward, bringing your knee to your nose. Push the floor away, rounding your back. Inhale, lift it back and up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to nose. This time, step it all the way through. Focus on lifting your knee up high first and then drop the foot. Good. Keep the back knee lifted. Rise all the way up into your high crescent lunge. Feeling that both feet are on two separate lanes. Try bending the back knee a little bit. See how that feels in the pelvis. Take a deep breath in, reach up. With your exhale, open arm twist to the left. Left arm reaching back, right arm reaching forward. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. And with your exhale, feel the strength in your abdominals supporting your twist. Take your gaze back towards your left hand. Maybe it's just your eyes that move, not your head. And you'll still might get a little extra space to twist. From here, we're going to windmill the arms around. So the left arm sweeps down, the right arm reaches up. As you turn, pivot on that back foot so the heel drops, setting up for your reverse triangle pose. Straighten both legs, reach the left arm up. Imagine someone's pulling on your arm, the whole shoulder lifts up, and then lean back. Come forward. Triangle pose, shift your hips back, reach forward and lower the left hand down, either to the inside of your leg
around your leg or onto a block. Stacking the right shoulder over the left shoulder. With your next inhale, lift back up. And then turn your feet to face the long edge of the mat, toes out a little bit, heels in your goddess squat cactus, your arms. Let's focus on the breath. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up, straighten your legs. Pause for a moment at the top of your inhale. Exhale, bend your knees deep into your squat, hands at heart center. Pause for a moment at the bottom. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, cactus your arms, bend your knees. Straighten your legs, reach your arms out to the side and around to your low back. Switch the grip of your fingers, turn your feet parallel to each other. Chest expansion, rolling your shoulder blades towards each other. Straighten your arms and then lean back, lifting your heart up towards the ceiling. And start to bring it forward into your wide leg forward fold with a shoulder rinse. Lifting, keep lifting your hands up away from your low back and away from your body. Release your hands down to the mat. Lift up onto your fingertips. Nice long spine as you bend your right knee, sit your hips back. Lift up and over to the other side. Good, one more time each side. Bring your hips back to center, turn to the top of the mat, dragonfly twist, right hand down, left arm up, leaning back into your right hand and push it down into the floor. Make sure your right shoulder's not dipping in, but it's staying drawn back. And then lower your right knee down and take it into a modified side plank, extending your left leg back. You can keep it on the ground or you can float it off of the ground. The right foot and shin can swing off of the mat if you want a little bit more stability with a kickstand, or strengthen that right hip by challenging yourself to keep the foot and shin in line with your knee. Good, from here, lower your left hand down, right hand down, step back to high plank. Pause here for a moment. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. So you're in a forward fold at the back of the mat. From here, bend your knees and rise right up into a chair pose. Let's bring the hands to heart center for this chair pose and take a look down at your legs. So you want the hips to be sitting back into space, which means the knees aren't going to go very far forward. They aren't going to go past your toes. Your hips are going to sit back so that the knees stay back behind the toes. So looking down, centering your knees over your ankles. And then with your next inhale, press to straighten into mountain pose. Toe wheel your feet towards each other, big toes touching, heels touching. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling and then start to lift your heels off of the ground and press your heels into each other. Lower your heels back down, bring your hands back down to your heart. Shift the weight into your left foot as you lift your right knee up to about hip height. And really focus on pushing your left foot down so that you're lifting up and out of the left hip rather than sinking into your hip. Take a step forward with your right foot and then lift your left knee up to about hip height. Think about pushing the floor away with your right foot. Step that left foot down, push the floor away as you lift your right knee up. Good, from here, take a big step back with your right foot. Open your arms up to a warrior two position. Press your feet down and away from each other. Make sure that left knee is stacked over your ankle at the center of your foot. And then flip your front palm, reach up and back. Reverse warrior. Exhale into extended side angle, lowering your left forearm to your thigh. Reach the right arm up and overhead. Come back through warrior two. Reverse your warrior, reaching up. Let the whole shoulder move. Reach back. Then cartwheel your hands down to the top of the mat. Step your left foot back into high plank. Hold here. Walk your hands back towards your feet. One more time, forward fold at the back of the mat. Rise up into a chair pose. Maybe you keep your arms lifted this time. Take
Take a deep breath in, sit down just a little bit deeper, hips going back like you're sitting in an imaginary chair. Then press up to straighten, bring your palms together down in front of your heart center, toe heel your feet towards each other. And then lift your heels and press your heels into one another. Try not to grip the mat with your toes. Relax the toes as much as possible. And then lower your heels down. Shift the weight into your right foot, lifting your left knee up to about hip height. Take a step forward. Lift your right knee up. Push the right foot down into the floor as you step forward. Lift your left knee up. And then take a big step back with your left foot. Open your arms up into a warrior two. Press your feet down and away from each other. Back foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Right foot pointing forward. Flip your front palm, reach it up. And back, reverse warrior. Come forward into extended side angle right forearm on your right thigh. Reach the left arm all the way from the shoulder up overhead. Then back through warrior two, reverse your warrior one more time. Cartwheel your hands down. Step your right foot back and lower down one more time all the way to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back up into a child's pose. And just notice this time how it feels compared to the first child's pose that you took. Take a deep breath in. Feel again the low belly expand. And full breath out. And lift up onto your fingertips and walk your hands over to the left. You can relax your head and your neck, but imagine after you reach as far as you can, imagine there's something just like an inch away from your right hand and really reach through the right arm. Then come back through center, walk your hands over to the right side, reach as far as you can, and then imagine there's something just out of reach that you really want, and reach forward through the left arm, through the left shoulder, and then back through center. Good. Lift yourself back up into tabletop, and we'll start to transition now into our yin postures. So we'll take the legs out wide, setting up for a straddle pose first. All of the poses that we've done so far have been more yang-like or have more masculine qualities of moving very precisely with a lot of structure. But these yin poses, they embody more of the feminine, where we're moving with our intuition, we're focusing more on how it feels rather than what it looks like. So you can choose how far you want to take your legs out, and then you can come forward without any support here if that feels good. The knees can bend a little bit. The legs can just flop and roll forward or roll back, however they want to fall. Notice how it feels here. And you can round your back, you can relax your head, let it hang. You can kind of sink into your shoulders. And if you want more support, you can add something with maybe a block underneath your forehead. Or if it feels a little low to have your forearms down, you could have blocks underneath your forearms. But just notice that you're feeling a gentle stretch around your hips, but it's not too intense. And pay attention to where your thoughts go. Are you worrying more about what this pose looks like? And instead of thinking about what the end result should be, try to focus on the sensation that you feel. Enjoying the present moment and the process of being in the pose. If judgy thoughts do come up, replace them with gratitude, just naming every little thing that you can be grateful for right now in this moment. Notice the sensation that you feel and send your breath to that space. All the way down to your hips. And let go of any tension with your exhale. Feel the subtle movement of your torso as you inhale, lifting away from the ground, and as you exhale, melting down towards the earth. Take about 6 more deep breaths here. With your next inhale, press yourself up and guide your legs towards each other. Find a little bit of counter movement, maybe just pedaling your legs. Try to tune into your intuition of how your body wants to move. Notice what areas feel kind of stiff and just mobilize there. Maybe circling your ankles, windshield wipers with your hips. When you're ready, make your way onto your back. We're going to set up for a twist. So if you'd like to have some support, maybe grab your block and place it on the left side of your mat. Then once you're all the way down onto your back, hug your right knee in towards your belly. Notice how it feels. You can keep your left knee bent or see how it feels to extend your left leg. Hug your right knee in a little bit closer with your exhale. Try to relax around your right hip. Then take it into your twist, rolling onto your left side. Guide your knee across. It can just hover, or it can land on some support. You could also play with how it feels to bend both knees, stacking them or placing something between your knees. So take a moment to play around with it. You don't really know what you're gonna like until you try different things. And once you find a comfortable position for your legs, the right arm can reach out to the right side if that feels okay for your shoulder. Your shoulder can float off the ground. Sometimes that's a nice stretch to the front of the shoulder, but if it feels like too much, you can slide a blanket or a pillow or something underneath your right arm for support. Your head can stay in a neutral position, gazing up towards the ceiling, or you can take the twist all the way up into your neck by letting your head roll to the right side. Then settle into your twist. And see if you can choose to be happy right now. Acknowledging that no amount of achievement will bring you happiness. It's something that you have to choose every single day. Take about 6 more deep breaths on this side. And start to roll onto your back. Bring your feet flat on the mat, or lengthen your legs, and just pause for a moment. See if you can notice a difference between the right side of your body and the left side of your body. Even if it's a really subtle. Then start to bend your left knee, hug it in towards your belly, wrapping your hands around your shin. Give it a gentle squeeze in. Relax around your left hip. Start to roll onto your right side, guiding your knee across. Reach your left arm out to the side, coming into your twist. And again, play around with different options, using props or bending both knees. Focus on how it feels. And don't worry about what it looks like. We'll find a little bit more silence on this side. And try to relax your mind. Virgo is known to be stressed out. So let's find as much relaxation as we can. Because although attention to detail and perfectionism are Virgo's biggest strengths, it's all about balance, because when those things are too much, it becomes a challenge. So relax your mind by focusing your attention on just one thing in the present moment. Not worrying about the past or the future. Focus on how your body feels, how your breath is moving, any sounds you can hear. Just pick one thing. And if your mind starts to wander, continue to bring it back to that focal point. Take one more breath here. Then roll onto your back. Bring both knees in towards your belly. Rock a little bit from side to side, or make some circles to massage your low back. Any intuitive movement. And when you're ready, we'll find a Shavasana position, our final resting pose for the practice, just for a few moments. Extend your legs out, reach your arms down beside your hips, a little bit away from your body with the palms facing up. And try to make sure you're not touching any props or your body. We take a lot of information in through our hands and through our feet. So the less that they are in contact with something and bringing information in, the easier it'll be to relax. And take a deep breath in through your nose, again, filling your low belly. Open your mouth and let it go. Feeling your whole body relax. And just rest here for a few moments. And slowly start to reach your arms up overhead. Point your toes. Take a full body stretch. Relax your arms with your exhale. Roll onto your side and press yourself up around to a seated position. Now that you've moved through this practice, you've connected with the energy of Virgo, it would be a great time to sit down and reflect on what you would like to set as your intention for this moon cycle. So I have a few journal prompts to get you started that I will put in the chat. They're also in the description. So the first one is, are there any areas of my life where I'm being too hard on myself? The second question is, are there any projects or dreams that I haven't started or completed because I'm afraid it won't be good enough? And the third question is, what areas of my life need more organization and attention to detail? This is a really great time to kind of work on your routines and streamline things. So you can jot those down, take some time to reflect, or you could also just think about them and try setting an intention for this moon cycle and then check in on the full moon with how things are going, and continue throughout the rest of the month. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this class, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want more classes, check out my website, moonphaseyoga.com. Thank you. Have a great long weekend for everyone who has Monday off. Bye-bye.